The house of my childhood always smelled of Bengay, stale coffee, a scent I once associated with my father's laziness. As a boy, I would watch my father, Thomas, collapse onto the sagging sofa at 6 p.m., his eyes staring blankly at the ceiling, barely moving until the sun rose again. I felt a simmering resentment that tasted like ash in my mouth. Other dads took their sons to the movies and laughed until their sides ached. My father was just a shadow in a recliner, a silent statue of exhaustion that I mistook for indifference. But one winter, the shadow broke, and the hero beneath was revealed in the cruelest light, and power lines snapped like brittle twigs under the weight of the ice. It was the year of the Great Freeze. The city became a tomb of blue frost. Thomas was a high-voltage line worker. While the rest of the world huddled under heavy wool blankets, I watched my father pull on 3 layers of tattered flannel and boots held together by silver duct tape. His hands were already cracked from the dry cold, bleeding at the knuckles. "Stay by the hearth, Elias," he had whispered, his breath a thick cloud of silver in the unheated kitchen. "I'll bring the light back, I promise." He stepped out into a wind that could stop a heart. 3 days passed without a word. When he finally stumbled through the door, he looked like a ghost carved from ice. His eyelashes were frozen shut, matted with rime. His fingernails were black from frostbite. He had worked 72 hours straight in sub-zero winds, suspended 100 feet in the air, just so his son wouldn't freeze in the dark. He didn't ask for a thank you. He simply poured the last of the milk into my bowl and watched me eat with a hollow, hungry smile. He was a hero to me. Years later, I moved away to the city, chasing important things and building a life of polished glass. I judged my father from a distance. I saw him as a man of limited ambition, a simple laborer who lacked the spark to be something greater. I was embarrassed by his stained shirts and his slow, heavy gait. I didn't see that those calluses were the invisible armor he wore every single day to protect me from the sharp, unforgiving edges of the world. I didn't realize that his silence was actually a song of devotion, hummed in the key of sacrifice. It wasn't until the house was quiet and Thomas was gone that I stood in the crushing stillness of his empty bedroom. There, tucked inside a rusted toolbox, I found his true legacy. It was a small glass jar filled with hundreds of tiny yellowed scraps of paper. On each one, in the cramped, trembling handwriting of a man whose fingers had been broken and rebuilt by labor, was a prayer written during his midnight shifts. "Let his hands be softer than mine. Let his back be straighter than mine. Take my strength, but give him the world." I fell to my knees on the cold floor. The weight of his love hit me like a physical blow. I realized then that every meal I've ever eaten, every book I've ever read, and every dream I've ever chased had been paid for in my father's blood, his sweat, and his holy silence. He hadn't been just there. He had been a bridge of bone and muscle, laying his own body over the chasm of poverty so that I could walk across to the other side. He was a warrior who had fought a war I didn't even know was happening. And so, as you grow older, you begin to understand. Your father was just a man trying his best with what he knew. Forgive him. He was living life for the first time too.